The expected life of the bridge is very, very long. For the certified life, it is guaranteed for 100 years.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA, and a very eminent guest with us today. Please welcome Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee. Now, he's a highly skilled IAS officer from the Maharashtra cadre of the 1996 batch with almost 3 decades of experience. He's accomplished some remarkable work in various government jobs and roles within Maharashtra. An impressive educational background, an MBBS from the Government Medical College, Nagpur, degrees and certificates in public administration and finance from Nagpur University, IMA, and the University of Toronto. In addition, he also possesses a CFA Level 1 qualification. Just to demonstrate his strong commitment to public service throughout his career, let me lead you through some of his significant assignments. He's been Vice Chairman and Managing Director of SIDCO, Additional Municipal Commissioner of Mumbai, Commissioner of State Excise, Chairman of Nagpur Smart and Sustainable City Development Company Limited, and currently he is Metropolitan Commissioner of the Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Development Authority, which is MMRDA. And under his leadership, there's so many major infrastructure projects, and his vision includes the development of world-class infrastructure, public transportation movement, and promoting sustainable development in Mumbai. What an honor it is to talk to you. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much, Hrishi, and thank you for the generous introduction.
Now, one of the reasons we have Dr. Mukherjee here is at the NCPA from the 17th to the 31st of July comes an exhibition called the Harbour Triumph, the Atal Setu story in pictures. And really need to thank the supporters, Tata Projects, Larsen & Toubro, AECOM. And I want to chat a little bit about that with Dr. Mukherjee. But before that, if you'll permit me a couple of personal questions. I'm very intrigued that somebody who's done his MBBS then joins the IAS. What prompted you to make this career change, Dr. Mukherjee?
It is not as rare as one would like it to be. So there are quite a few doctors in the IAS today. But yes, when I joined the IAS, that time very few people from the medical background used to be there. That I would say it was purely providence, because in our times we didn't have these entrance exams. So we were getting our post-graduation, etc., merely on the basis of the final year marks. So I had a lot of time in the internship. So I thought that let's use it. And then, it just happened.
Well, you've been one of the youngest officers in the IAS. How's your journey been thus far? And very keen to know how the focus became infrastructure projects. Was it an abiding passion always, town planning and infrastructure?
I actually started my career like most people do. So I was a probationer in Thane district. And I think that is where I got my first exposure as a probationer. Then I was sub-divisional officer again in Thane district in a place called Dahanu. And from there, in fact, I went down to Marathwada. And I had a great experience in Marathwada in rural development, agriculture. In the water sector, I was Chief Executive Officer of Zilla Parishad of the district of Latur. And then I was posted in Jalgaon as the collector of the district, and I also was the municipal commissioner of that. In fact, I'm the first municipal commissioner of Jalgaon. And it was that time, when I got my first exposure into this sector. So the airport had to be designed there. And a lot of other work was happening there. There were housing projects. And there was also a huge water conservation effort which was going on in Jalgaon those days. So we built a dam worth 25 crores purely by public contribution in a village called Lamanjan in Jalgaon way back in 2003. So that's how I entered into this sector. From there, I got transferred to Nagpur. And in Nagpur, I became the joint MD of the Maharashtra Airport Development Company, which is the, popularly called as MIHAN. And I still remember those days. We were 7 people, including me and the peon and the managing director. And we used to go out ourselves. We used to, actually, I say, get tape leke field mein kaam karna. So that's how I began my foray into infrastructure. And later on, when I became the collector of Nagpur, I continued working with that company. And then I went to Nagpur Improvement Trust, which is again something like MMRDA of that place, So that, and then as things would have it, I have been around in this sector, and I've been extremely fortunate that two airports, the Nagpur one and the Navi Mumbai airport. I've been very, very closely associated, and around Mumbai, I would say I have been associated with almost every major infrastructure project in some way or the other. Among the top 5 projects of Maharashtra, I would say I had the extremely good fortune of being associated with the Mumbai Coastal Road, which was designed and the work was started during my tenure at BMC as an additional commissioner. And after that, the Navi Mumbai International Airport, the Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, and the Mumbai Metro. So these are 4 out of the 5. And the 5th is the Samruddhi Mahamarg, where I have not served, but so it is, I would say, a part of providence and good luck. And I would say that it was a nice journey, because in infrastructure you see the things happening right in front of you. So you get a sort of a satisfaction of having done something right there.
The Atal Setu has many firsts, Dr. Mukherjee, including it being the longest bridge over sea. There are wonderful safety measures and surveillance of traffic in place. My question to you is, what is the expected life of the bridge?
The expected life of the bridge is very, very long. For the certified life, it is guaranteed for 100 years. Yeah, whenever we build anything, so we build it for larger projects, we build it for 100 years. So the Atal Setu is certified for 100 years, but with the type of, the amount of steel that we have used, the amount of structural steel, like structural steel is 4 times the Howrah Bridge. The overall steel used is, about 17 Eiffel Towers can come up with that. So the way the bridge has been constructed, I was not associated much with the initial planning and design, but I must say that the people who did the job at that point of time did a great job, and the bridge has been constructed using several firsts. It was an extremely ambitious project, and now as we see that it's the target is, or the crime is not to aim too high, the crime is always to aim lower.
Well said. Was there a very challenging and critical phase during the construction of this road that you can recount?
Yeah, of course. Like when I took over, that time we found that, the bridge had to be commissioned, and it had to be commissioned by the end of the year. And a lot of work was left out. And that was the year where we had an extremely heavy monsoon. And the monsoon was so heavy, and it had an extremely extended monsoon. And the monsoon was very heavy in the Navi Mumbai and Shivdi area. So on one hand, you have to get the work done. But on the other hand, you can't afford loss of a single life. Such kind of projects, casualties sometimes happen, and you can't afford that. So first decision which we took here was that it should be a zero casualty thing. So that is one. Second decision that we took was that we will work 3 shifts. That was second. And third decision that we took is that each one will keep an eye at the other guy. So the person working there, he can also tell me, sir, aapke paas ye pending hai, zara aap turat clear karke do usko. So each one keeps a watch at the other guy. And I must say that the project was completed, in fact, before the scheduled time, and much within our target. Our target was to complete it by 25th of December, but we completed the bridge on 22nd. And then it was, we were waiting for this thing. And we have also been able to get all the certifications done. So all the certification, the audit and everything. So when the bridge was out, that time the bridge was full and complete in all respects.
The challenge or the curse of being Metropolitan Commissioner is that you do one great deed, you put up one infrastructure project, and citizens will ask you, what next now? So it's a logical question. When do you expect the connectivity to the expressway to happen, which is the Sea Link and the Mumbai-Pune Expressway? So the utilization of the Atal Setu is, increases significantly. Eventually, I believe it will also connect to the airport, Dr. Mukherjee.
So the Atal Setu now has, there are 3 points of connectivity that need to be done. First is it needs to be connected within Mumbai. So the Atal Setu was essentially the bridge from Shivdi to Navashiva, but you need to connect it to Mumbai. So within Mumbai, it is connected now at Wadala. It is connected to Shivdi and Wadala. It is connected to the JNPT, and it is connected to the Eastern Freeway. We need to connect it further to the Mumbai coastal route. And for that, we are doing one project which is called as the Shivdi-Worli link. That link was held up because about 19 buildings were getting affected in that link, and because of which the issue of land acquisition, the issue of rehabilitation, and the prohibitive cost. Like the project would cost 2,000 crore, but the land acquisition was another 5,000 crores. Prohibitive cost. So, we give a challenge to our people. I don't want anybody. In fact, I said, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 2 building, and we should use the technology. And now, just in the last authority meeting, the Honorable CM approved the proposal, and that was that we have shifted the alignment slightly to one side. And by shifting it slightly to one side, we have been able to save 17 buildings. So only 2 buildings will now get affected. And these 17 buildings, they are all due for redevelopment anyway. So they can approach the BMC and they can go for redevelopment either on their own, or they can go into any developer, in which they'll get a good deal, I'm sure. And these 2 buildings, MMRDA has its own policy of resettling people, so we will resettle these 2 buildings. And now the bridge, we hope that it will be completed by the end of next year, or maybe in the beginning of the year 26, end of 25 or beginning of 26. So that is the hope. Secondly, there are 2 bridges which are being built by CITCO. So one is a bridge, one is called as the Harbour Coastal Road, and one is called as the Ulve Coastal Road. Out of these, the Ulve Coastal Road will actually connect to Atal Setu, and that will take it to the Mumbai International Airport, and it will further connect it right up to the Palm Beach Road. So essentially now when you land on the New Bombay side, then you need to travel within the city of New Bombay. So there, that will not be required. So that work is being done by CITCO. The work was held up because the central government CRZ permission had not come. So that has come, and the work has started it's almost a year now that the work is going on. So in the next 2 years, that should be completed. So that will connect it within the part of New Bombay. The third thing, which is that there is a connectivity which is required to the Pune expressway. So from Chirle, we have to connect it to a village called Padaspe in the expressway, so that you don't again need to go within the internal roads and you directly land up in the expressway. Thereby, the Atal Setu will save time for the Punekars. And the Navi Mumbai International Airport will also start serving the city of Pune in a much better way. So that's the thought. And that work, we have awarded, the work has started. So that should take 3 financial years to complete. Next 3 odd years, that part will be completed. And we are also now thought of doing another exit to JNPT. That is because most of the traffic that JNPT is developing, now private ports have come in JNPT. So there's a great growth that is expected in that part. So the traffic that will come from JNPT, that can also directly come into the Atal Setu. So today there is a JNPT connector. We are adding another JNPT connector, and that JNPT connector will take the traffic onto the Atal Setu, and these people can come, and if they want to go to the BPT, then they can directly go out to the BPT. So that entire arrangement will actually complete the connectivity on both the sides, and that should take another 3 years at most.
Thank you for revealing all your plans so clearly. Now, this project has been in the planning stage from the 60s, Dr. Mukherjee, and various committees from time to time have been reviewing and revising the plans. There is an NCPA connection there too. NCPA's co-founder, the great J.R.D. Tata, was in one committee in the year 1981. But then, astonishingly, in a short period of 45 months, including the COVID period, you made this happen. What are the combination of factors that made it happen in a short period of 45 months when we were actually going through various committees from the 60s to now?
As I said, when there is a desire, where there is a will, there is a way. I think this is a very, very old adage, and I think that is exemplified by the Atal Setu story. So when the government decided that they want to get it done, and in fact MMRDA decided that this has to be done, and MMRDA put all the stops together on this. So in fact, one of the issues which has been bothering people was the environmental factor. So you are going to put in piers within a very, very sensitive area. Are you going to damage mudflats? Are you going to do something to the flamingo and
population?
Flamingo population. And secondly, so Atal Setu, as we planned it, all those points have been taken into account. So the flamingo population has actually grown. Not a single mudflat has been touched. Extremely advanced technology, like the drilling, for instance, it's called reverse circulation technology, whereby, it hardly makes any noise, it hardly makes any vibration as you drill to the rock, So extremely advanced technology has been used. the lighting of Atal Setu is such that it will not affect the marine environment. So this is a level of detailing that we have done while we are constructing, when we were doing this bridge. And so once MMRDA decided that it wants to do it, once we put all our minds on the job, once the government of Maharashtra put its mind on the job, okay, this has to be done. So, well, the work was done. And it's not that in the COVID period actually work has not happened. In fact, for instance, the fastest building in the world has been built by CITCO. It's called Vision 96 building. That was built during the COVID period. In fact, so Maharashtra has witnessed a lot of, great development during the COVID period too.
I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but two-wheelers and three-wheeler riders are a insistent bunch. Why is the Atal Setu now primarily being used by four-wheelers? What's the reason to disallow two or three-wheelers?
In fact, two-wheelers and three-wheeler riders have to realize that, see, the traffic as it moves, it is essentially governed by very simple laws of math. Now, what happens in a normal lane? That a two-wheeler, who is actually the slowest vehicle on the lot, why are we having congestion here? One of the reasons we are having congestion is various vehicles of various stages with various types of, speed. So you don't have people sticking to their respective lane. The truck driver drives in whichever lane he likes. The bus driver drives in whichever lane he likes. The bus driver takes a turn from the left side to the right side while he's driving on the left lane. So all of these are being done by people because they think this will lead them to travel faster. What it does, it slows everybody down. So Atal Setu, to reach from one end to another end, there is a particular speed. That is, you need to drive at something like 90 kilometers an hour to 100 kilometers an hour. That gives you the best driving experience. You will not feel anything when you drive in that, And this will ensure that you cross the bridge in that limited time. In fact, it takes about 12 minutes end to end from the bridge, rather than 22 minutes that we had said that it will take. So that is one thing. Second is that there is a very big safety issue. The two-wheelers anyway can't drive at that speed. They are not designed to drive in roads like this. The two-wheelers in India are not designed to drive in roads like this. Thirdly, the safety issue. As far as safety is concerned, when you're driving on this thing, the incident of any kind of accident happening, getting, thrown out somewhere, all high stake moments. So therefore, in any corridor in this country where there is high speed movement, then two-wheelers and three-wheelers are not allowed. And if two-wheelers and three-wheelers do come in, then this high-speed movement will come into an end. So the issue is that there was a road for them earlier. The road for them earlier still continues, and that road can be used. This is a long-distance travel, 22 kilometers of overall stretch. It's a long-distance travel, and it is meant for people from Mumbai to New Bombay, Mumbai to Pune, etc. So therefore, from safety point of view and from traffic point of view, both these points of view, you cannot allow two-wheelers and three-wheelers on a vehicle, on a road like Atal Setu.
At the Dilip P. Ramal Art Gallery, 17th to the 31st of July comes Trans Harbour Triumph, the Atal Setu story in pictures. It's truly wonderful. And now I'd like you, Dr. Mukherjee, to comment on it. Why you would encourage people to visit the exhibition? What do you think they will learn from it? Also, something that we've noticed is that once infrastructure comes up in a city like Mumbai, the whole perception of distance changes. And one doesn't feel, oh my God, I'm living in a satellite city. Why should I go to another satellite city to engage with an artistic offering? And obviously with the coastal road, with the Atal Setu, we are bridging that gap, making distances shorter, and there is more cultural access. So your thoughts on the exhibition?
Well, I think the exhibition is a great initiative, and I'm very thankful to NCPA for approaching us and asking us, telling us that they would be doing this exhibition on the Atal Setu. See, the people of this country and the people of this city, they need to know what's happening, and they need to see what's happening. And the judgment that they will make will be, they should make the judgment themselves. They should not be, influenced by what I say or what you say or anybody else says. So for those who have visited the Atal Setu, and for those who have seen the Atal Setu, and hopefully now they have stopped stopping on the road and taking their selfies. But for those who have visited the Atal Setu, they know what the Setu is, and they know how the distance has shrunk and how time has shrunk and how the quality of experience has gone up. So they know all these three things. For those who haven't, and for those who have also, to be part of the story, to understand what has happened, that is one. Secondly, people need to understand that India is really moving ahead, and Mumbai is also really moving ahead. Lots of things are happening in this place. And so you see, we are building arguably the world's largest metropolitan system built at any given point of time. In fact, to my knowledge, Riyadh built 160 kilometers to 170 kilometers at one point of time. And Mumbai, MMRDA itself has aimed to build 337 kilometers. CITCO is building separately. There is this line 3 which is being built by MMRCL. Thana city is building its own Thana ring road network. They will be built. That has also got the approval. So a lot of this kind of work is happening. The large projects of global scale. The Atal Setu, the longest sea bridge in Asia, India's longest bridge, one of the 10 longest bridges in the world, and in fact one of the most sustainable bridges. In fact, after the Atal Setu has come, some newspapers have reported that certain birds have, the flamingo count has gone up. So people need to know what's happening, and they need to make up their mind out, and they need to understand the opportunity that is being thrown out to them.
You look like a very well-read man, and given everything that you've achieved, you obviously have a passion for the arts too. Have you had any experience at the NCPA, going to the Tata Theatre or Jamshed Baba or Experimental Theatre, the many theatres in the complex, or the art gallery that you can share with us?
Oh yes, I have visited the NCPA several times, and I have seen the art galleries. I have attended the London's Philharmonic Orchestra there, and I've in fact heard several of the world's top-class orchestras at the NCPA, and several fantastic plays and many other things in the NCPA for a long time. I think NCPA is a part of South Mumbai's very, very local culture, and it is a very important part of Mumbai, in fact.
Lovely. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the city, for the state. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, Dr. Mukherjee. And have a good day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Asia's first robotic educational elephant.
Yeah.
Dia, your voice.
I can't tell you the kind of pride and joy Ellie has given me, because since I voiced Ellie, she's basically an empathy-building elephant who travels to schools across the country.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA. Well, woe betide, I'm not getting to give these two people wonderful, big, tight bear hugs, which I normally do when they enter my studio. But given that we have a broadcast in less than 2 days, and that we have a very, very big event in less than 4 days, I think we just had to do it for convenience, had to do it on Zoom. Hi, Dia Mirza. Hi, Bittu Sahgal.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hi. So good to talk to you, as always. And yes, I miss giving you that hug too.
And
That makes two of us, Hrishi K.
Yeah, Bittu, I told you, whenever you do something, I'll always be there to support it. Likewise for you, Dia. Okay, all of you who are listening and watching, Kids for Tigers, it's the Sanctuary Tiger program, Friday the 19th of July from 8 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon at the NCPA. It's absolutely free, but you must register because these are confined spaces. So we really want to know how many people we have there so that we're able to organize things. So get on to bookmyshow.com or the app and just register your spot there, and we'll all have a ball. All right, Bittu, the theme this year says Playtime in Paradise. Please explain.
Playtime in Paradise is essentially like this. We start with school children who go to school, and we say, animals don't go to school, but they learn every lesson imaginable. Every single lesson, from a primate, from a langur to a tiger cub to a leopard cub to a bear cub, everybody listens, learns, plays with siblings, with others, with this and that, and those are actually survival skills. So those are really, how well they play and how well they understand their societal roles in life, which are tougher. Okay, Baba, it's all right, and so on and so forth. So Playtime in Paradise is essentially a way for us to explain the rationale of the forest, and also to reduce the ecological grief that is spreading like wildfire through all our young people. We want them to enjoy nature and to love nature, not to be afraid of it and not to be scared that it's going away. It's going nowhere. It's going to be all right.
The earlier the better, isn't it, Dia? As a mother yourself, how important it is to educate children about the importance of saving the environment and educating them about tigers.
Oh, the earlier the better for sure, because I think if I had to trace back my understanding of this interconnectedness of life and this precious ecosystem that is all interdependent, I can think back to my childhood and the time spent in nature and learning the names of birds and bees and plants and trees and watching, the constellations. It was only much later in life that I went to a forest and felt even more madly in love. But I think when you start young, and just the very fact that Avian has a window looking into a entirely green space that we've created for him that attracts a rich biodiversity of bees and almost 21 species of birds. On any given day, he's through the day listening to birdsong. The context of this is set from a very, very early phase of life, and the fact that he interacts with nature every day, whether it's playing in the grass or it's just watching nature, and the fact that he's probably been to more wildlife safaris than I had right up till I think I must have been 21 or 22 when I went for my first safari. He started going on safaris when he was 1.5, 2.
Wow.
And this has a great impact, because if you ask him something as simple as, who does the forest belong to? He says, the tiger and me. And this is not an answer I taught him. It's something he's understood. And I think that this is precious, because this builds the foundation of every choice he will make through life. His understanding of what it means to be a part of a precious ecosystem that is interdependent and interconnected.
Lovely. Well, Bittu Sahgal, you have many fans. One of your other fans, Nikhil Advani, says he's my Guruji. And I was saying to Nikhil, I said, but Guruji can become quite the child when he's around children. and given that you're now as old as our country, you were born in 1947.
Quite right.
Means you have every right to become a child with the children.
Absolutely.
So tell me, the day looks lovely. You have a Save the Tiger signature campaign on scrolls. You have art installation by schools. You have a wildlife photo exhibition. You have something called the Wishing Tree, and I'm very intrigued by that. So let's talk about the early morning events.
So it's
the
like
nature trail, the nature
Yeah.
trail, the most important one.
In fact, let's start with that, because that's the first program that we have early in the morning. And the nature trail is just a way for us to tell city children that you don't have to go into Kanha and Bandhavgarh and things. You got the same rules that exist there, exist here. So whether it's a spider waiting for an ant, or whether it's a bee looking for some food, or whether it's a rat trying to eat up the nonsense we throw, edible garbage, or a cat or a dog, etc., 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 nature is wonderful. And one of the things we do when we go on nature trails, particularly in this time of climate, warming and all the miseries we see, near the car park at the NCPA, we ask a child, just touch this car, and right there's a leaf. I said, just touch the leaf. And the leaf is cool and the car is hot. Every tree is an air conditioner. And it's just one of those magical things that happens with nature. It has a way of making everything work. So this particular day, this festival that we have, is a festival of joy, but it's a festival of learning. And it's also a festival of relationships, children with nature. It works. Hrishi K, when you come there, I promise you'll think you're 12 years old.
And through the course of the day part, which is 8 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, you can meet Ellie, which is Asia's first robotic educational elephant.
Yeah.
Hear your voice.
Yes, my voice.
Tell us about Ellie. How is Ellie?
I can't tell you the kind of pride and joy Ellie has given me, because since I voiced Ellie, She's basically an empathy building elephant who travels to schools across the country. And she's been made by a team that actually makes wild animals when they need to be used in films so that we don't have to torture the real species and we have these which are so lifelike and real. And the impact that she has on children is profound because she shares her story from the forest to captivity. And she talks about what it means to her to be separated from her elephant family and her forest home. And how, but the good thing is that the story ends on a very positive note. So again, fills the children with a sense of optimism and hope, but most importantly gives children a call for action, because they understand how can they stop more animal cruelty from occurring. So they're asked to make a commitment to refuse to visit circuses that have live animal acts, and then of course campaign for the protection of wild elephants and the like. And it's I think it's the greatest privilege of my life as an artist to be able to do work like this, Hrishi K, because this is what lives on, right?
Yeah. True that. Very beautifully put. All right. For those of you who forget to register on Book My Show, there is a registration desk at the venue. NCPA has just sent me a note. That registration desk is open from 7:30 in the morning till 9 in the morning. It will close at 9. So maybe if you haven't been able to register at Book My Show, come to the venue, but only till 9 o'clock. So 8 o'clock the event starts. At 9 that registration desk will shut down, but it opens at 7:30 a.m. I believe one of the highlights of Kids for Tigers is the fancy dress competition. What is the theme for this year, Bittu?
The theme is the same. Can I answer this?
Yes, please. Yes.
That's over the
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
It's delightful, Hrishi K. It's actually one of my favorite activities of the day, because it's just so wonderful to see children of all ages dressed as their favorite wild species. And the kind of heart and effort they put into it is just remarkable. It's too much fun. And then they kind of, move around the stage like the wild animal, and it's too lovely. And I think the nicest thing is the joy of participation for everyone, including the parents and the teachers from various schools. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So a wild animal you love. Parents, children, come on, start working on your ideas.
And
That's
this year, let's be innovative. Let's see if we can use waste to create costumes that make you look like a wild species. I think that will be really cool.
Yeah. And no peacock feathers.
No peacock
at all. So no plastic, no peacock feathers, just creative minds.
So Kids for Tigers, the rap song. My line of work, this is it. Lovely. Is this something that they're going to create on the spot, or have they already recorded this?
No, it was started something like 20 years ago, this rap song, because we had a young boy, Sahir Doshi, who was one of our Kids for Tigers, and he grew up and he's become a man of thoughts. Now I still look at him as my little Sahir. This is what he does. He wants to use music to reach young people with messages that the Buddha party, guys like me, keep on saying this will happen, that will happen, don't worry, it'll be all right and all that. He's turned it into a fight. He's a performer, that little, not little, I can't keep calling all these guys little guys. He's a performer. So अपना फर्ज निभाएंगे, टाइगर को बचाएंगे, अपना फर्ज निभाएंगे, जंगल को बचाएंगे, अपना फर्ज निभाएंगे, कुदरत को बचाएंगे. He turns all this into something which is pure magic. The children sort of go.
What's really delightful about what Sahir is doing is that he's taking the mantras of the Kids for Tigers program that children have been chanting now for years, and has created like a really cool rap song, which is again informative, educational, and super fun.
Tell me about past editions, Dia, where you've gone and been absolutely stunned by what you've seen there.
I'll never forget the first time I went. And I was just so deeply moved by the enthusiasm of the kids. And then, Hrishi K, over the years, I've met grown-ups who've been a part of the Kids for Tigers program as children and doing extraordinary conservation work. And they could be, from any field. Some of them are lawyers, some of them are accountants, some of them are teachers, some of them are writers, some of them are graphic artists, some of them are illustrators. But they're all conservationists at heart, and they're all using every iota of resource they have to be able to spread the message of climate change, of biodiversity loss, of pollution, of the need and the urgency for protection of life on Earth. And for me, that is Bittu's greatest legacy. That is his biggest triumph, that he's created a system that has, moved hearts so deeply at a young age that these young people who are, after they grow up, continue to be stewards of the planet, and do the kind of work that they're doing for her protection.
Wonderful. Listen, you didn't tell me what the wishing tree is, Bittu.
The wishing
I
tree.
want to know.
Yes, I'll tell you what it is. It's a simple thing. When we go out to kids, we ask them that, look, if I gave you a magic wand, what would you want to do for nature? So in a sense, I can't distribute so many magic wands here, but we have a tree with many branches, and they have little notes with little, they write little things, and they hang it on the tree, and they become like, and we gather them all, and then we send them to people who need hope. And that hope comes from children, for old warriors like us. And we do things like that. So the wishing tree is literally just that. What do the kids wish for tomorrow?
Lovely. Now, in the lower lobby, the lower elevator lobby, the upper lobby of the NCPA, very easy to find. Wonderful activities. There's some face painting, poster making, a puppet making workshop.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do one puppet making workshop. Wonderful.
Come join us, Hrishi K.
Yeah, I think I should now.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful carrot dangling in front of me. Leaf art. So really wonderful. A big ups to our corporate sponsor, the upcoming Kids for Tigers Festival, which is part of NCPA's Summer Fiesta, is supported by IndusInd Bank.
Yes.
So the good people at IndusInd Bank, thank you very much. Corporate sponsorship is the only way out, for us to do any kind of conservation in this country, and who knows that better than Bittu.
Yeah.
And this is the Tata Theatre, NCPA, Friday the 19th. Please register, book my show, or at the venue between 7:30 and 9 in the morning. Thank you, guys. And mostly see you on Friday.
Yes. Please come.
Absolutely.
You can all.
Hrishi K, I promise to put some non-toxic paint on you and make you look like a tiger. How's that?
That is enticing. Thank you.
94.3 Radio 1.